Hi, Scrappy Peeps. Susanna here today for the Scale It Down series with Simone. However, Simone is on vacation, so I have Desiree filling in for me today, and we are working on stamping again. This is part 2, and that's what I created in my personal journal. So last time you saw a video for stamping, I showed you how to create a border. This time I'm using stamps to border an edge, a fringe, an edge, let's call it an edge, to do some title work as well as to do some embellishing. And with that embellishing, you can stamp on a separate piece of paper, or you can stamp directly and color in that stamp. So all of the stamping I'm going to do with black ink, and then I add color by using some markers. So I have here a picture of my kitty, and she is mine and I am hers, and so this is going into the week in the life of me kind of book, the all about me book. And I have this old collection from my mind's eye that I picked up recently on Tuesday morning. And I have these stamps that are also from my stash that are from Heidi Swap. And I knew I wanted to print these flowers because these flowers look very much like the flowers that are in the collection. And I also knew that I wanted to use that little phrase that says, I love fill in the blank with you. So it is also an embellishment to the page. And I find that when you use embellishments in your traveler's notebooks, that they work great, but the more embellishments you use, the more depth that that book fills up and the thicker that that book becomes. So what I really like about stamping in my traveler's notebook is that it's a great way of adding tons and tons of embellishment, because you can stamp as much as you want to and you can cut them out, and it still ends up being thinner than if you were to put layers and layers of embellishments on your page. And so what I love is that with stamps, I can put as many stamps as I want and have tons of embellishment, but not have it be as thick as a spread would be than if I had used embellishments. So I have two options here with this fringe, or edge. I've got that black and white stripe, and I wanted something as a border between that black and white and that floral pattern paper there. So I clearly have chosen to stamp a border in there and create that edge there, that border there. I could have cut pattern paper. That would have added another layer. I could have used washi. That also would have added another layer. And this book is getting pretty thick. So to me, stamping was a perfect way to show you how to use stamps and not add too much bulk to your traveler's notebooks. Some people don't mind the bulk, and truly I don't mind the bulk, but because I'm probably only 2/3 of the way through this book, and you will see how bulky it is, I didn't want to add any more bulk to the layout, which is why I chose that. I wanted a little bit of a border around the cat while I have a white border around the actual photo. I just wanted to add a little bit more gray into that so that there wasn't this stark contrast between her and that lovely floral pattern paper there. So that's why I put a thin border there. And so that's the flower that I know I'm going to use in one of the corners. And I wanted to use the same color, so I have a Jane Davenport mermaid marker. I watered it down a little bit so that it was less pigmented, and I'm just going to use a water brush to paint the color in there. And in a minute you will see me, after I add this second color here, I will flip the page over, and despite the fact that this is a mixed media notebook, yes, there is the color literally soaked all the way through. Now, yes, I could have painted gesso there. The problem with painting gesso is that these pages aren't a true white, and so you would have seen white on the kind of off-white, but all that means is that the next page over, I'm going to have a corner of pattern paper there, which kind of dictates the format of what the page behind that is going to look like, which is fine. I'm flexible and I can make that work. So now I want to do some more stamping to do the title work. And so see, as I go through the book, you can see how thick that is. And so this is why I decided I am going to definitely title this with stamps but the drummy fingers were, am I going to stamp directly on there? I don't really want to add any more of that color because I don't want that to seep through as well. Or am I going to find something else to stamp on in order to put that title? And so that's why I dig through these tags here, find that We Are Memory Keepers pocket card. And the rounded corners kind of bug me with the photo that doesn't have rounded corners, and I'm not a rounded corners kind of gal, but I did ultimately decide that those rounded corners are small enough. They're not as dramatic as some of the actual Project Life corners are, so I'm just going to go with it. And I'd pull that yellow tag out because that yellow tag, there is yellow in the collection, and I like the way that the yellow complements the pink, and I like that black and white strip on that right hand side because it pulls the pattern paper. It just ties the whole spread together between the left and the right there. And again, I cut this tag because I don't want the bulk in my book, and really all you're going to see is the top of the tag there. So that's why I cut the bottom of that off to minimize the bulk in my page. And I'm going to tie a bow from that twine, trim off some of it because it's kind of long, and then put in that embellishment at the bottom of that there. By putting the embellishment, by stamping that as an embellishment, what ends up happening is the length of that photo, which is 5 inches long, now I have the title and journaling spot is almost 5 inches long as well. It's just shifted down from the bottom of the page a little bit. So again, trying to tie those two pages together. So this is a stamp set that is from Cocoa Daisy. It's kind of a build your own alphabet. So you stamp the outline of the alphabet, and then there are some innard pieces that you add color or dimension to the stamp from. So I'm going to put My Girl as the title, and you see I have the Lawn Fawn stamp there. I had actually thought I would put a longer title that used multi-fonts, but I'm going to change my mind so that I have room to do some journaling. And so I'm going to stamp My Girl. And what I had done before I put the My Girl down was I was just testing that maroony color to see if it went with the pink on the left-hand side, which it did. And so I'm going to then use that ink pad to fill in My Girl with the different textures to complete the letters and kind of finish building the letters there. I am then going to journal in that space down below. I am also going to use some tile stickers to finish off the phrase that I have down below. And that, my friends, is my Traveler's Notebook spread in my book about me for this month. So if you do not follow Desiree or know who she is, please be sure to go over to her YouTube channel and subscribe to her channel and see what she has to share with you today for stamping in your Traveler's Notebook. In 2 weeks, we have a special guest joining us for Simone and I for our Grab 5, and I know you're going to want to come back and join us for that. Enjoy the close-ups. I hope you're doing well today and are enjoying learning how to design in your Traveler's Notebook. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.